There's only one Siouxland's News Channel with Matt Breen, Jessica Bowman, Chief Meteorologist Rhonda Mars, and Sports Force with Jason Moeller. This is KTIV News 4 at 6.
Major renovations are happening at one of Iowa's last independent hospitals. This all comes as the Iowa Hospital Association says 140 hospitals have actually been forced to close across the country since 2010. Well, tonight as KTIV's Matt Hoffman reports, Horn Memorial in Ida Grove is a critical access hospital meant to stabilize patients so they can reach the next level of care.
Right now, the ambulances at Horn Memorial Hospital sit outside in the elements, as does the mobile MRI machine. Soon, the emergency parking lot will become an enclosed ER space and double the size of the hospital's lab.
And we're standing in a driveway right now, which will be enclosed as part of the project to also allow for ambulances that are picking up patients, transferring patients, or dropping off patients to be inside and out of the elements.
Signs of the construction are just starting to show. A bit of moved dirt, equipment ready to move in. The project spans about 9,000 square feet. A mix of loans, a USDA grant, and support from the community funded the project. The ER is kept so busy and it's a little bit cramped that we can't go inside and show you footage of the ER. Otherwise, we'd be violating patient confidentiality.
So we're not county funded, so we're not a county hospital. I think there's only 20 hospitals in the state that are independent, but many of those are county hospitals. Yeah. And so we are a rare entity here.
When finished, the project will provide 2 larger ER rooms, 3 private infusion rooms, more space, and greater security. Construction is scheduled to be completed in the spring of 2025. In Ida Grove, Iowa, Matt Hoffman, KTIV News.